Mm-hmm. And we're off to the races.
We're live. This is happening. Are we live on Facebook? We're live everywhere.
We are. Yeah, it's happening.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, folks. It's Saturday. We are, what is it? Saturday, what's the date today? February 6th, 2021. This is Karate in the Garage.
Featuring your hosts,
Joe and Dave Landers from Brothers Landers. Welcome here. Hey!
We're hanging out on the internet.
And we're doing it in person today.
Yeah. A big upgrade from the last
Super big upgrade.
couple of months of hanging out on the internet on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Which is really great. We'll talk about that. We'll explain why we're doing this in the flesh again.
Yeah, we will. All right. I'm going to turn this music off. Welcome here, everybody. We're super pumped to be here with you. Saturday. It's a great day. Welcome to the back of my room. I think everybody is used to being closer that way.
About 6 feet in front.
But we're trying a real thing here.
I'm into it.
This is weird because we're not used to this angle, so we actually have to look into the camera if we want it to not look like we're looking elsewhere like this. So
can you pull up this screen on that screen? Is everybody doing that? I mean, you're pretty blind, but if you make that screen big, I can probably see it from here.
Oh yeah, there's no way I could see that.
Oh,
okay.
I can't see it either. Don't
worry
about it.
Never
mind.
No way
whatever you had before was great.
All right,
we're producing our own show again. So yeah, this is pretty cool for us. We for those of you who don't know, we're broadcasting live from Winnipeg.
Welcome to Winnipeg, everybody.
This is our
You've
home.
Never been to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Now you're here.
And it's so cold. It's so cold.
Oh my God,
today.
it's so cold today.
Yeah, it was a proper Winnipeg day. It's down minus 30 Celsius, which is pinch over minus 30 Fahrenheit. Pinch colder than minus 30 Fahrenheit, I believe.
It's awful. It's awful. We've had a really mild winter this year, so we've been spoiled.
But we're not here to talk about the weather.
I don't want to talk about the weather.
No, but we wanted to talk about why we're sitting here together, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Winnipeg. We've been under sort of aggressive restrictions against gathering in groups for the last number of months. And the most recent sort of lifting of restrictions meant that we could choose to
have two designated people to socialize with outside of your homes.
Yeah. So obviously that's an impossible decision to make when you've got sort of a large family and we've got a bunch of grandparents and stuff. But ultimately what we decided to do was to open up our bubble so that we could not only see each other, obviously, which is amazing, and because I've missed you so much and missed Anna, but it also allowed us to work on the record.
Yeah, which is we're up against the clock because I got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
Less than 5 weeks. 5 weeks minus 1 day.
5 weeks, 1 day. Wow, that's crazy. So today was your baby shower.
Today was our virtual baby shower. We haven't, we're going to do, for all the people who gave gifts and sent videos and advice and all that, we are going to do a video in response to that, but we haven't done it yet. But thank you. If you helped us out, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. It goes a very long way. I'm going to go plug in the camera so it doesn't die.
Oh, that's smart. That's wise. You're going to leave me here. Yeah, so we figured we'd jump in, and today we would talk about whatever you want. I mean, we're here to answer questions and chat with you guys and see how you're doing. But we also thought maybe it would be topical to talk a little bit about what it's like making a record in quarantine and how that has, I mean, everybody, all of our peers, everybody who's an artist right now is making weird records because we're having to make records in ways that we've likely a lot of us haven't done. But I thought that might be interesting to talk about how it's sort of affected our process, because it's been very different making this record because of an inability to get together in the same room.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to talk about like how we've made records in the past.
Yeah, cool. So I mean, we've actually had um a pretty specific process for making records, and it always starts with writing a batch of songs that we really like, and then I think anybody who knows me and knows um, my slash our music know that I am super into chords, and so um, making sure the song is finished involves making sure the harmony is where I want it to be, where we want it to be, making sure that the harmony reflects the story of the song, and then the arrangement, of course, as well. But we're not super huge on pre-production.
No,
We
never have been.
never have been, and I think on this record we kind of attempted to do a little bit more pre-production than we've done in the past. But generally, that just we get together with our producer Murray, who on this project actually is our co-producer, which is pretty cool. And we talk through the tunes, make sure that the arrangements are good. Murray is so good at, we interviewed him a couple of weeks back, but he's so good at making little tiny adjustments to things that just kind of get them finalized, get them feeling good. So we go through that process. Once the songs are in tip-top shape, harmony's there, arrangement is there, lyrics are there, melody's there. Then we go into the studio with a band and we cut bed tracks. And we then start to piece together the tune as soon as bed tracks are done. So that's like rhythm guitar, bass, and drums. Mainly our goal is to get finished bass and drums together. It's really important that the bass and drums are done together.
Yeah, and every record that we've done, or sorry, the records that we've both been a part of, which is Let It Lie, Whiskey, 87, and also the Undercover Brothers record, we're all done that way, where we would sit and we would get the bones of the song.
And Hindsight was recorded that way as well.
It was too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
With different band, but
different band. Yeah.
So that like I didn't realize how like when we went into this record and I knew that we would be making it differently, I knew that it was going to be different. What I wasn't prepared for was how far out of my comfort zone it was going to take me to not be working off of a foundation that is bass and drums.
Yeah.
And that kind of threw me for a loop. And it's still, I find it's still like, as now we're revisiting these songs again, after having basically 3 months off.
Yeah.
Coming back and finding just like how different that process feels when the foundation of the song is not as settled, and that's a thing that can move and change. And like we've now cut, probably for a lot of these songs, we're on like the third take of bass parts.
Yeah.
And every time it's like a different sound, it's a different approach. So these songs, like,
well, and we started like the first batch of tunes, it was at a different time, and we had our friend Emmett Van Etten come in and play some drums, and we got all these great bed tracks, but some of the arrangements weren't right, some of the tempos weren't right. There was a lot of stuff that we kind of missed, and we kind of went back and we're like, oh man, like I think this song is too fast. I think this song is too long. So we ended up having to kind of go back to square one on a bunch of the tunes. And then at that point, when we decided that was going to happen, we were in a much more significant lockdown, and getting together to record bed tracks was just not a possibility. So then we thought, well, what do we do?
Yeah. Because when Emmett came to record the first batch of tunes, or sort of basically our first try, when he came in to do that, we were just on the cusp of it feeling kind of sketchy. Yeah. Like I remember being like, we have to be prepared to pull the plug on this, because if things are starting to get out of, and like luckily that was before things really ramped up and got out of control. But it was like shortly after he flew home that it was like things really clamped down.
Yeah. Oh, brothers. Oh, man. Man. Get out of here, man.
Cut to music. Cut to commercial.
See you next week.
So, but I think it's like, and even sitting here talking about it, because we've been busy working on it, but I don't know that we've sat back and sort of analyzed how different and how strange it is to make a record this way.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing that comes back to me. I keep coming back to is like, in the past, when we've made these things, we settle on the heartbeat of the song being the rhythm section. And we go, okay, that's it. That's your concrete foundation. Yeah. We're going to build from there. Come hell or high water, that's our zero mark. That's our like our level.
Yeah.
And this process has been so different because that's just not the case. And when anything can change in the song, I find like I'm just like I've had these moments of just being like I'm losing complete objectivity on like what is this
Yeah.
song? Who is this song?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when the rhythm section can be flipped on its head like that, then it can be a completely different piece of music. The tempo changes.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of tunes. There's 3 songs for this record that I brought to the table that were, I had initially kind of thought maybe I would make like a small EP of tunes that I recorded before I moved into this studio space back in August. I've been working at home, I'm in a home studio, and I thought, oh, well, we're grounded, we're in lockdown, we're in quarantine. Maybe I'll make a record at home. And so I got started on piecing together these tunes for this sort of like, I play or program all the instruments on the record. And so they have a decidedly different identity than some of the other tunes on the record, and certainly compared to some of the other music we've released. So that's been challenging to try and find, how do we take these tunes, which were basically almost fully formed by one person. I played everything, I mixed everything, I recorded everything, and how do we walk it back so it feels like a collaborative effort between the two of us? Because that's something that's really, really important on this record, on all of our records, is that this feels like, this is music that you and I have made together, and our sound collectively is different than our sound on our own. When you finish a song completely on your own, it sounds totally different than when we finish a song together, and same with me. So it's, how do we take these tunes that basically are already formed and bring them to the table as this collective thing that we do together? And that's been challenging, but we're getting it. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, we are. And it's been good for me specifically. I think it's good for all of us, but I mean, like, it's true when you pull yourself out of your comfort zone. That's where a lot of growth happens, and I'm finding that already, just like in terms of production and stuff. I did have something I wanted to sort of backtrack, because
I just want to make sure that the audio and stuff is okay. We didn't even check at the beginning.
Oh yeah, do we sound okay? Can you guys let us know in the comments if
are we loud enough? Are we too quiet? Are we too loud?
Is it
I don't know.
Taking your head off? Are we obnoxious?
I never know how when you're recording, there's a pretty specific thing that you do. You read the meters, you make sure everything's metering properly.
Yeah.
And it tends to be where things metered normally for recording tends to be a little hot, but I don't know where that is in the digital world.
Our friends on the internet will let us know.
They will let us
if
know.
We sound terrible. We got a lot of musicians in the house, so they can be objective.
If anybody's got an SM7 they want to sell me for cheap, I need one more.
Yeah, we're one shy.
We're one shy.
Just to backtrack a bit, Indie Game Dev is asking, what is pre-production, like planning the workflow? Yeah, effectively.
Yeah. So pre-production would be exactly what it sort of, I mean, it might not be obvious. And so it's a great question, but pre-production means everything that happens before you actually go into the production of the product. So we basically put the songs out on the table in as simple a form we can. And normally when a song is finished for Dave and I, it looks like an iPhone memo that has the complete tune with the complete set of changes, the complete arrangement, melody, and lyrics.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple. Normally just an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Some of the songs, like I said, came to the table more fully formed, but that's because I kind of was trying to put this sort of EP thing together. So pre-production for us is that. For some bands, it's like literally like everybody gets in the room, you decide what you're going to play, what parts you're going to play, what pedals you're going to step on and when, and it's basically like rehearsals for the record. We are much more fly by the seat of your pants, and I don't think there's one way is better than the other. We just love to improvise.
Yeah.
And part of the magic for us, and for me, the thing that I love the most about making music is getting into the room and just hearing what everybody's going to do, because it's going to change what I'm going to do. So I might go to the table and with like, I want to play this part with these inversions and this sound, and then I hear what Dave's playing and go, okay, well, that's not going to work. I have to change. So, that's what pre-production looks like for us. It's just kind of getting the bones together, the foundation ready.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're so interested when we go into the studio to make a record. I think one of our big goals has always been to capture a sincere moment in time. It's not about getting the song perfect. It's not about even playing it perfect. It's about capturing a performance that feels honest. I was talking about that with Paul this week on the way out the studio.
Paul Yee, our engineer and very dear friend,
Yeah.
and also my landlord.
The landlord.
Yeah.
I was just on my way out the door, and we had a quick reminisce about the new Lightweights. One of the EPs that they recorded, the new Lightweights, is a band.
Alexa Dirks, Ariel Posen, Ryan Voth,
and a revolving chair of bass players.
Mm-hmm.
But they put out an EP called Munson Park.
Oh, it's so good.
And there's a song in there called Maybe I Don't Know, and it's such a perfect example of capturing a moment in time. And it's one take, top to bottom, and it was Ariel and Alexa playing together, and then and then they overdubbed a bunch of like other guitar sounds from previous takes. They sort of recycled stuff and made some really cool ambient noises, but it's always stuck out to me as such a beautiful example of capturing an incredibly powerful performance in the moment. And no amount of pre-production will sort of prep you for that. That's like, you hope that you've done your homework and you understand your material and you know how you want to present it. You trust your musicianship, that when somebody hits the red light and you're recording, you might capture magic.
Red light fever.
There it is. And that was an example of catching it. And you can hear it on the recording. It's not that it's perfect, but the performance is so sincere and so honest that it's moving, and anybody who hears it can tell.
Yeah.
And Paul was saying, it's not that I wouldn't do things different. It's not perfect. I would have done things differently. Now I would have treated that differently. I would have mixed it differently. I would have processed it differently, yada, yada, yada. But he's like, there's no arguing that.
That is great.
That is really great. It's really profound. I think that's really cool.
Let's go to the phones here. Let's see what caller number 7.
Yeah, you guys have any questions?
Anybody with feedback on the audio? Are we coming across all right? Oh, somebody says perfect.
Oh, lots of people. They like it.
Huh. Well, it's not a hobby. It is a hobby. My whole life is just a hobby.
Oh, so this is a real. We're going to backtrack completely, but Jonas is asking, will Let It Lie on vinyl be available in the international online store soon? Yes, they're sitting on my porch. I have to ship them to Europe. It takes a minute, especially now. Shipping is all garbage right now. But I will get them out to the store, and we will post about it once we have them in stock. I've got that. Joey's got
Hindsight
on vinyl in North
I have 4 copies of Whiskey left on vinyl, which are about to be available on my merch store.
Yeah, so keep an eye. We stocked up on records.
Yeah.
Long story short.
You'll have
them soon.
They'll be available. Thanks for asking. Thanks for being interested. Thank you for wanting to spend your money with us. We really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Yeah. What else we got?
No questions.
No questions. No notes. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. This has been Karate in the Garage with Joe.
The shortest one in existence. There's got to be some questions in here. Lots of nice comments. I mean, you guys saying a lot of nice things. How do I grow a beard like yours? Oh, you know what? Oh, so nice to hear. Gonna buy. Thanks, Anders. Where do you find your writing inspirations? Great question. Jeremiah Higgins.
Everywhere.
Life.
Just living life. I mean, for us, I was thinking about this the other day. I did a little a Zoom meeting with a grade 10 music class for Nelson Mack the other day, and 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I don't know what day of the week it doesn't matter. I don't have a job. And I was kind of trying to think about how to answer this question. And I think that there's a number of different sort of types of writers, and there are storytellers, and there are poets, and then there are people like me who use songwriting as a form of therapy. I very rarely find myself wanting to tell a story for the sake of telling a story. I'm almost always writing about something because I'm trying to process it in some way, shape, or form. And there's rare exception to that, like Greenhouse, which is a song we get asked about a lot. That's an exception to that, because that's just a story. That's not our own personal experience. But a lot of the songs that we've written are rooted in things that have either directly happened to me or directly happened to you. Now, you're more of a storyteller. I think I try, but as you're saying that, I'm thinking, like, of all the times that I've sat down and been like, okay, Joe, here's the idea of the story I want to tell. How many times have we actually finished those songs? 0% of the time. Never.
The ones that we like are when I come to you and be like, yeah, this happened to me. Here's this song.
Mhm.
Here's this song that happened to me, or isn't in response to something that happened in my life.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that stick.
And I envy, you know, I envy people who write from all sorts of different places. And I think that there are pieces of all of those different things that I mentioned, like the storyteller, the poet, and there's many different versions of writer. And I think there's little pieces of all of those writers in everybody. You know, we start to tell our own story and start to process our own feelings, and then it does become, okay, well, what's the story here? Who is what? Who is doing what happened to whom? And what's the sort of thing? There's in that element of storytelling, and of course the poetry is in trying to find the right words to describe the setting or whatever. But
yeah,
for us, I think my default setting is who hurt me.
yeah,
or who did I hurt?
yeah.
And it's very, and now it's a little more like like it's not just who hurt me or who did I hurt, but it's also how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. It's these kind of things.
As our lives change,
yeah.
It's you inevitably want to write about different things. I think I aspire to be a storyteller still. Like, I haven't given up on it.
Yeah, I have. I'm not changing.
That's just fine. You be you.
I like things to be I like routine, I like structure, I like schedule. Unless it's my email. I'm sorry to anybody who ever sends me an email. It's not good.
I often find myself asking you, Joey, like, didn't you see that email? You're like, oh no, I'm terrified of my inbox right now. There's hundreds of messages in there. It's like,
it's bad in there.
I need you to read that email. You're like, no, it's not going to happen because there's like 100 scary emails in there that I don't want to deal with.
It's not like that. It's just that it's so disorganized because my email address is also my business email address, but it's also the thing where I get like reverb.com has offers on this. And so like amidst all of these important emails that need to be read, there's also all this friggin' spam that I cannot get rid of. And I have days where I just like violently unsubscribe from things and still but then there's a part of me that's like
a violent unsubscriber.
You heard it here first, folks. There's a part of me that just is like, maybe I should just get a new email address and start from scratch. But I like my email address. I got it in, I don't want to say when I got it because then I might just be broadcasting my personal email to the world. But it's special. It's a special email address that I think people born later, maybe even after 2000 may not have access to these types of emails.
It's so cryptic.
Here it is. My email address is littlepig87.
Joey Shreds with a Z at Yahoo. At AOL.
At AOL, yeah. At MSN Messenger.
We can do an entire episode of Karate in the Garage and inbox management at some point.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely
I would love it.
Let's not talk about this. Nobody cares about this.
Somebody says it's not a show. James says it's not a show until Joey has said bonkers at least once. Is that a thing that you say?
I do. I say bonkers. I love to say the word bonkers.
There was a question here. Do you intentionally select modes to write songs? Can I get a shout out for? Oh, can I get a shout out for Jeff? Happy birthday, Jeff!
Hey, Jeff. That's Keith's dad.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Happy birthday to you. Sorry, I won't do that. This feels weird now that like we've got a couple of lights here. We have something that feels like a camera. It's a new thing. We're really upping our production here.
What are you reading right now?
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
I've been reading the same book for how old is Finn? That long. I got through it. Like I sat down with it the other day. It was like, I'm going to read a book. I got through half a page.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of time.
I look forward to reading a book again.
Yeah, I like reading, but I don't have a ton of time to read, and I'm not like super driven to read. But the last thing I read was a book called The Illegal.
Oh yeah,
about the runner. It was a really good book. It was a good story.
What is your favorite tone you've ever recorded? And okay, Aaron Lewis asks, Q for both. When you think of your guitar bass on recordings, what is your favorite tone you've ever recorded and what tune is it on?
Favorite tone that we've gotten on our own records?
I'm assuming, yeah, or maybe not. Maybe anywhere. What's your favorite guitar sound?
Oh man,
I know what mine is.
What's yours?
No, you go ahead. You go first.
This is a hard one for me. You go first.
My favorite guitar sound on any of our recordings yet is the guitar solo on Our Love.
That has a great story.
Yeah,
that is a fun story.
It was fun. We didn't know what we're doing. No. We got that song. We were so happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of ways, like it's the first guitar solo on our first record.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of ways, well, easily it's my favorite, but I think that was like, that's the first piece of guitar playing that people heard on a Bros Landreth record. Because when we put out that record for the first time, we didn't put it out with a single. We just released the album.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we're doing. Put it on a CD, baby. And so people would have queued up that record, heard that song first, and that was what they got.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And it also, I love the bass sound on that record.
Donnie Benedictson recorded recorded that bass sound, and actually recorded half of that guitar sound, because Dave and I, we've told this story before, so forgive us if you've heard this already, but the Our Love solo, it was not cut in the track while we were doing rhythm guitars, but it was cut on the rhythm session. So we had kind of gotten through all the bed tracks and had a little bit of time left. So it's like, well, why don't we get to some solos? So we cut that, and that was my old 66 Deluxe no reverb, which was a gift from our neighbor. It was a beautiful gift from our neighbor Ron when we were growing up. And he said, "Oh, I used to play guitar. I've got an old guitar amp. Maybe you might like it."
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's been in the basement for 40 years or 30 years. And he said, "It's not Gibson, but the other big guitar company, Fender." Yeah. I actually posted a couple years ago. I posted an Instagram post that told this story. But basically, Ron gifted me this amp, and when he brought it over, he told me about it, and then I forgot about it for like a year, and then he showed up one night in the middle of nowhere, and was like, "Hey, I dug this amp out and thought you might like it." And I plugged it in, and I said, "Oh man, this is amazing. I could probably help you sell it." And he said, "No, I don't want to sell it. I think you should just have it." So that's how I got that amp, and that was my main guitar amp, and still one of my favorite guitar amps ever.
Someday, one of us, somebody our age right now, like in 2021, is going to have a Line 6 Spider that they're going to tuck away in the basement, and 40 years from now, they're going to gift it to some young guitar player on his way up.
You take that back. That's hurtful. That's hurtful. I mean,
I'm teasing.
Line 6 makes a lot of great stuff. The Spider Valve amps was, I apologize, not one of them.
It's a beautiful story. Sorry, I'm just being an idiot, but it's a really nice story.
Yeah. So anyway, so the guitar solo was recorded with that amp and Ariel Posen's clone made at the time by JHS, which JHS only made while the original Klon guy was not making pedals.
Interesting.
And so that was that tone cranked. And then we were doing overdubs at Steve Bell's studio, which we're going to have Steve on the show at some point, which is going to be super fun. Yeah,
we were supposed to have him on today, but I dropped the ball because I haven't slept since my son was born, and my brain is spaghetti.
His brain is made of porridge. So we were doing overdubs at Steve's studio, and we were kind of listening to, I think we were listening a lot to the Jimmy Vaughn Out There record, which has this killer room guitar sound.
But we were also listening to Colossal Head by Los Lobos.
Oh yeah, which also has this wicked.
But there was a bunch of roomy guitar sounds that were
in our life. Bonnie Raitt Fundamental. Yeah. There's a lot of and a lot of stuff engineered by Chad Blake.
Is that all engineered by Chad Blake?
Fundamental was, Colossal Head was. What was the other one we mentioned?
No, yeah, the
Jimmy Vaughn was not, I don't think.
But just like,
but also the Dole Bramhall record that was released under his last name under Bramhall was Jelly Cream. I'm pretty sure was recorded by Chad Blake.
I have no idea.
I believe it was.
Okay.
So there's a lot of roomy guitars. So we were like, how can we get this sound? And Dave Zaglinski, who is Steve's manager and engineer and has produced a lot of his records, said, well, if you put a cabinet in the hallway and you point it into this corner, and then you put microphones in this corner, you get a pretty awesome roomy guitar sound. And so we put the cabinet out in the hall, and then we had no way of reamping the direct signal. So we sent it out of one of the headphone sends in Pro Tools. And it was the absolute wrong way to do it, because it was a balanced signal going unbalanced into a front of guitar. So it was noisy and it was too loud. And if you solo the room sound on there, it is horrendous.
Sounds terrible.
But mixed in with the solo from that Donnie most expertly recorded, it really works. And then Jason Gant, who mixed that record, also, I'm sure, worked all kinds of magic with that. But that's how that sound came together. So it's like the guitar solo was recorded in Rose Isle, Manitoba, and the room sound was recorded in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing that again on I Am the Fool. We did the exact same thing on I Am the Fool. The big roomy guitar sound off the top of I Am the Fool is that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite guitar sound. I think, and is also my favorite bass sound.
Off the record.
Yeah, that little intro off the top.
Boom.
I'm so proud of that. That's cool. That's the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like riding your bike with no hands. Like that cool or cooler.
Nobody looks cooler than when they're riding their bike with no hands. Nobody.
Roberta hates it. When we ride bikes and I ride with no hands, she gets so stressed out. But I can do it really well, like no sweat. So.
Man, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I can ride my hands or my bike with no hands.
I don't know if she's watching right now,
good
but if you're watching right now, I've never fallen off my bike while riding with no hands yet.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the callers.
Yeah, take another caller here.
Shout out to Dave Ramsey. How you doing? Better than I deserve.
If anybody understands that
deep
reference,
cut.
I'll be shocked. This is fun. This is sort of in the same vein of what we've been talking about. Robert Lowe asks, when you started the Brothers Landreth, did you have a set sound, musical style you wanted to achieve, or did you guys just write and let the music go wherever it did?
Yes to all.
Yeah.
But the sound that we wanted to achieve was not the sound that we made.
It's not who we were.
We wanted to be like a power trio.
Band of Heathens. We were listening to Band of Heathens at the
I
time.
was like something between
Crooked Vultures we were listening to.
Stop finishing my sentences. I can't think of what I'm actually trying to say.
Carry on.
Kings of Leon mixed with Muse. That's what I just was like, I want something big and gnarly. Cool. I want to wear cool clothes.
We want to be badass.
I want to wear my sunglasses inside. You know?
And we just weren't.
No. And then what came out was Firecracker. Hey, little firecracker.
Greenhouse.
Somebody hurt me.
And that's, I mean, I can't say what people know us for because we do a couple of things. We're not like incredibly versatile, but we have a handful of different things that we do on stage, different places we go musically. But I don't think people
play guitar, Faraway Eyes.
Forget lyrics. Forget to step on my tuner. So
no. Forget to step off your tuner. Dave's number one pet peeve is that Dave doesn't know how to pedals. And so he'll turn on his tuner and then go to the front of the stage to rock. And it's just like, hey.
And there is nothing. There's nothing more anticlimactic.
And he's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah. I still do it all the time. And it's just the funniest thing because you just like the band comes in, there's no bass. It's just like, meow.
It's true.
And you look at me and you just look you don't look angry. You just look disappointed.
Just look disappointed. And that's a note for bass players. Whatever you do, don't stop playing.
Yeah.
I would rather hear you play every single note in the wrong key than to hear you stop playing. Because if you stop playing, there's nothing more hurtful than you could do for a lead singer.
There's a place for it.
When it's supposed to happen.
Musically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like don't cease to stop playing, which is a double negative. But like don't continue to play through an entire set like in between songs.
Oh yeah, I don't mean like play bass solos all night.
I just want to make it clear. I just want to make it clear so people don't take this the wrong way and wind up like
you're in the middle of if you're in the middle of Back in Black and you're just like, oh, I don't remember the bridge and you stop playing. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's hurtful.
Who plays bass in AC/DC? An Australian guy, probably. He probably doesn't stop playing.
He plays one note at a time.
Maybe it's she. I don't know. Joey.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself primarily as a singer or guitarist? And on which would you be more happy to be recognized? Or does maybe that not
I feel like at the end of the day I'm a guitar player before I'm anything else. I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. It is interesting though, because when we started the band, I don't think that was the case. It was like maybe frontman was kind of my identity.
Yeah.
I didn't have a clear picture of who I was.
Are you comfortable with that, or do you feel like that is something that is decided for you? Or is that how you see yourself, or is that how you think people see you?
That's a wicked question. I think I probably see myself. Oh man, that's hard to answer. That's really hard
Yeah,
to
yeah.
answer because I feel just at home like arranging background vocals. That's another thing that I really love to do and feel
And you're very, very good at it.
very
Yeah.
comfortable in. I also feel really comfortable recording. Like I don't think I'm the world's greatest engineer, but I feel comfortable driving the console, you know.
Yeah.
Um not that I have a console in here. Who am I kidding? But you know, driving the desk. Um but I think I would quietly like to be thought of as a multi-instrumentalist, but I'm not super good at any other instruments. Like guitar is definitely the thing that I do.
Yeah.
So I hesitate to say I'm a multi-instrumentalist because there are people out there who literally play everything super, super, super great.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jacob Collier comes to mind. And
Jordan John, my pal Jordan John from
oh,
Toronto,
yeah, right.
who man, every time he switches instruments, you're like, ah, damn it, oh man. But I think I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful.
Pass me that hurdy-gurdy, man. What? Are you for real?
That's Donnelly on
Hurdy-gurdy.
I think to be honest though, because when I started to get recognition as a guitar player, I I was existing in a plane where I knew that I was good at guitar, but I also was very aware of a lot of other people who were much better than me. And when I was working as a side person, my main strength was not that I was this super great guitar player. It was that I was a good guitar player who was also an asset in other areas. Like I could sing, I did a bunch of tour managing for some folks. So I had some other skills, and so it wasn't only like you got to get Joey, he's the best guitar player for the gig. It's like you got to get Joey because he'll learn all your harmonies and he'll help out with some of the back end stuff. And so, and that's not, I mean, I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I think that, and I accepted that. I was happy to be that guy.
Yeah.
I did a tiny bit of band leading as well, in those days. So, I think when I started to get recognition as a guitar player, it was really encouraging and it made me feel really, really good. And I was very excited because it just wasn't how I saw myself. And so even though I still feel like I'm good at guitar, but I know a lot of people who are way better. I'm still pretty grateful for that title. But functionally and as a professional, I definitely feel like a guitar player first.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
cool. Interesting.
But I'm grateful for it. And recognition is an interesting thing, and I don't necessarily need or want it, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
I'm not about to go like, oh, I wish people saw me more as this. Because I'm just grateful that people
care at all.
That I got a seat at the table.
Yeah, hell yeah. Great attitude.
Thanks.
Great attitude.
What about you? Do you see yourself as a bass player or more of an accountant?
Definitely an office donkey first.
So an interesting thing about my brother, at the same time as being one of my absolute favorite bass players, and of course, my bandmate, my best friend, Dave is an unbelievable business person. And I love telling the story that he I don't know if it was our first tax return as the Brothers Landreth or our second one. You prepped all of our taxes and took it to the accountant, and the accountant was like, so David, where did you get your certification? And you were like, School of Hard Knocks, bro.
Got it on the road.
But Dave is unbelievable. Like you're oh,
you don't need to make me blush. You don't need to make me blush.
This guy's spreadsheets. My God.
No, I can't even say that anymore. Now I work with a team full of people that are really good at spreadsheets, and
I don't care. Their spreadsheets are garbage compared to yours.
Your bias.
Yeah. I'm very proud of you. You're an incredibly well-rounded person, and I think the stereotypical view of a musician is disheveled the majority of the time. And you just smash that to pieces because you're so organized and on top of your shit. And also an incredibly creative and articulate person musically as well.
Thanks, man. Thanks, brother.
A lot of times I think you kind of have the guy who's good at business in the band or person.
Maybe you turn him down in the mix.
Yeah, you're just like, you know, Brian's harmonies are not the strongest, but man, that guy knows how to count a t-shirt.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I will tell you a story.
Brian is a fictional character.
That is not a real person.
Yeah.
I will tell you 2 stories. One, first, I will tell you sort of my personal anecdote, because I think it kind of fills into what you were talking about too. Because I think I whatever sort of creativity or like the real musicality that whatever that, and you know, I'm not trying to be humble or modest or anything, but like whatever I am as a musician, I really feel like I found later in life. And I think I recognize from it, like you said it best. It's like when you're surrounded by the kind of musicians that we were growing up, it humbles you, you know, like the cats that we came up with were so heavy. We're playing at such a level that it was very, like, I was very aware of the fact that I wasn't getting gigs because I was the best bass player by any stretch, because I was on a scene with Meg and Julian and Gilles and all these massive heavyweight bass players that live in Winnipeg, that you would, for everybody that's not in Winnipeg, you would just flip your lid at the players that exist here in this frozen wasteland.
John Irvin and Kevin Torgelson, and the list goes on and on and on.
And Paul
Yee.
Grew up, like, absolutely. He was one of my heroes.
Yeah.
So I recognized pretty early on that the thing that was getting me gigs and was allowing me to work in music was my attitude.
Right.
And that was the thing that, like, I consistently found myself on gigs because I didn't moan about stuff. I learned the songs as good as I could. I was prepared. And it was fun to be around, because I genuinely enjoyed it. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be hanging out with my friends. I wanted to be in the bar playing music. And I wasn't afraid to let people know. And I know that that's what kept me busy in the early days. And then later, when we started the band, I think I really sort of then let myself fall into, like, sort of being more creative and allowing myself to indulge some of those things.
Yeah, it's interesting when I hear stories about like famous side people who are kind of difficult, like kind of pricks. Just like, I don't care how good you are and how many different subdivisions you can play with your hands and feet. I will not hire you if you're not nice to be around. I will not. I will gladly take somebody who's half as good as you, as long as they can do the job, if they're nice to be around.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think that's an old, like, there's a,
how much time do you spend on stage making music?
9 of 20. Like, I was talking about this the other day with the students that I had this class with. Like, you're probably awake anywhere from, like, you know, 15 to 20 hours of the day sometimes on a bad travel day. Sometimes you're awake for 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
And of those, like, remember our first trip to London?
I went through that with somebody. It was like, we got like 12 hours of sleep in 7 days.
In 7 days. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But of that time, you are lucky if you get 90 minutes on stage. So you have to be fun to be around. You have to be able to hang.
Yeah, you got to be able to hang. You got to be able to show up in the lobby on time. You got to take care of your hygiene, like all the things that.
Don't be late for lobby call. Never make a van full of people wait for you.
And
never.
Don't eat smelly food.
Don't eat smelly food. Like, nobody ever wants you to eat a can of tuna in the van.
Yeah, don't be that guy. Oh, somebody says spider. Yeah, Kiva says spider. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, spider. Man, nobody pushes a band around like Spider. It is the funnest thing. That dude drives the bus. Ken Sneve, he is a Winnipegger. He's recorded on many records. The original recording of Life is a Highway.
That's Spider. Damn.
And the list goes on. I mean, that's just one of them. But
and
he lives here in town.
And Loverboy, like monster bass player.
And he played in a house band here for, I want to say, was it like 15 years? Called All the Kingsmen at a pub called the King's Head in the Exchange. And there were 2 gigs that happened weekly when we were coming up, when I turned 18. One was Ego Spank with Murray,
which we talked about
a couple weeks ago, and the other one was All the Kingsmen. And it was like some of the best players just like taking tunes and jamming all night. And like, it was not uncommon for All the Kingsmen to play one song in a set, you know?
Yeah.
And it was the kind of thing where like this happened a couple times. And one time I even got to be in the house band for this. But Lenny Kravitz's band would come to town to play the arena, and his keyboard player is originally from Winnipeg. So they would come to town usually a couple days early so that he could hang with family or visit with family. And so a lot of times they would call up the King's Head and come and play. And I got to be in the band one night. And I remember it because I lost some hearing that night. Franklin Vanderbilt, I believe was the name of the drummer, was the heaviest thing ever. It was Joe Curtis. Me, Meg Dolovich, Joe Curtis, and Aaron Edgar were in the band. And it was heavy.
Yeah.
And I got to stand next to Craig Ross. Actually, this is a fun story. Marty Thiessen reminded me of this, and this is, I love this. So we're on stage. I'm so nervous. We get the call from the owner of the pub, and he goes, "Hey Joey," at the time I had a house gig there on Wednesday nights, and he said, "Normally the Kravitz guys come to town and jam with all the Kingsmen, but none of the Kingsmen are in town. Can you put together a crack band and just come and play? And when these guys feel ready to get up on stage, and they want to play, you just move out of the way and let them do their thing."
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. So I called up Joe, Meg, Gur, Aaron Edgar, who, if you're not familiar with him, he is also quite a well-known internet drummer guy who does unbelievable things. So check him out, Aaron Edgar, one of our very dear friends. And so the Kravitz guys show up, and they're unmistakable because they look
so
cooler than anybody. Craig Ross with his afro, like skinny rocker guy, lots like rings and stuff. And he walks up, and I handed him. I had at the time a Mexican Strat Seafoam Green that was not the nicest guitar, but I loved it. And I hand that to Craig, and he plugs directly into Joe's old Bassman. I think it was Bassman or Bandmaster, and just like. It was a rig I could not possibly make work for me. And Craig plugged into it and it sounded incredible. And we were playing Use Me. And so it's like Franklin Vanderbilt on the drums. I can't remember. Meg was playing bass. The horn section from the Kravitz band was on stage. We're playing Use Me. Joe is singing his absolute ass off. And somebody looks at me, it's my turn to solo. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. This is my moment. I start to play this solo. And the Marty Thiessen told me this story years ago, reminded me of this story, and he was like, it was so fun to watch because your solo just had this perfect arc, and it started to climb and then it just like and it just crashed and burned and ended so horribly. Like I was on top of it and I was feeling good. I was playing stuff that was really exciting, and then it all just started to fall apart, and I couldn't rescue it. And I just like, I committed. It was just like everything I could do. It was just like, I'm going for it.
You're going down with the ship.
This bird is going down. And I just absolutely shit the bed. And I was so horrified because I was like, this was my moment. And Craig Ross hits me and he goes, "That's fucking great." And I was just like, what just happened? And there's something in that I think that what I took away from that was him saying, like, it was ballsy. You just go for it. You don't know if you're ever going to get it. And if you don't get it, who cares? If you're going to go down swinging.
Go down swinging.
And I wish that there might actually be like a board tape of that going around. That's one of my favorite moments. And I doubt if Craig Ross would ever remember it, but maybe he would. Oh, yeah, you're that guy that crashed and burned that night in Winnipeg. That was great.
There's no way he remembers it. But it just goes to show you.
You don't think so? In my heart of hearts, he remembers.
Maybe
and he thinks
does.
of me fondly, and he remembers my guitar and wishes that I'd have sold it to him for $15,000. I'm just kidding, and obviously that was very fun, and I learned a lot in that moment.
Yeah, I just had, the whole time you're telling that story, I had this image in my head of you not going down with the ship and what that would look like, and it's just you just like throwing the guitar up and running off stage and just letting it clank down without you, just like a Looney Tunes moment, like just a
a cloud in my shape is left.
Yeah.
The sound is like boing.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, you go down swinging. And hey, we've been there. The thing is, if you don't reach for it, you'll never get there. You succeed 0% of the times that you don't try. How does the math work out on that? You guys know what I'm trying to say, though. You guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you don't swing for it, you never get it.
But there's so much to be learned in those crash and burn moments.
Absolutely.
And there's like, it's not just music. It's intensity and it's intention and it's emotional. And so like, you can say so much creatively by just sticking to it. And you will never learn a lesson like that if you don't go for it.
Yeah.
And you will never learn a lesson like that if you just stay safe and always play stuff that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you how many times like somebody will post a video online and I'm just like, oh man, what was I thinking? But it's because every time you take a risk, there's the chance of something really great happening.
I think I could even say that, like, you've talked about this a lot. Like, I don't step out very often, and when I do, they're kind of Hail Marys, you know. And I can feel the whole band being like, oh frig, here it comes. But like, it's exciting because that's also what it feels like. I can feel those moments coming up on me. Like, I'm just like, okay, something's brewing. I'm inspired. The guys are, the band is
a clue.
Yeah, I have such a raging clue right now. And you can feel it coming. And the thing that makes it exciting is because I'm not confident at all that it's going to work, but I just know that something's coming.
It's, you know what it is. And this is something that's been kind of floating to the surface. I miss
playing music so much.
Oh God. Yeah. It is coming to it with like this childlike, you know, when a kid sits down at a piano and mashes at the keys, they are not trying to sound good.
No,
they're just exploring the territory. And there's something so magical about that. And when you can channel that sort of like excitement and that freedom, man, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing in the world. And yes, you will fall flat on your face. You will play clankers.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna do it in the, like, your voice is gonna crack in the middle of that vulnerable moment. You are gonna play a garbage solo. You're gonna start, man, you remember that time? You remember that time in Illinois where what was that, when we were opening up for Paul Thorne? So I do this I do this gag. I have
yes, I do.
I've worked really hard to develop this gag where I can sing in one key and play in a completely different key. So basically like go on autopilot with my hands and then just really try to, so I can sing a half step, a full step, a minor third in the wrong key, and play in the right key. So I've worked on this because it's a funny party trick. And every now and then, like, somebody go, oh, play us a song, and I'll start playing and I'll do this because it's funny and nobody's expecting it. So we're where was that in Illinois? It does.
I want to say Champagne.
No.
It'll come to me.
We're starting the song. We're playing I Am the Fool. We had just come off of a string of dates in the UK and Europe, or just the UK. And so we were super tired. And anyways, we start I Am the Fool. I have my capo/capo in the wrong position, and I don't realize until the band comes in, but I can't fix it. I'm stuck in, I'm singing in G and the song is in A, and I can't stop. And I cannot find my way back to the original key. And I sang the entire first verse and pre-chorus in the wrong key. And I was looking at you, and the band was looking at me, and I was just like,
and you were asking me for help. The best part is you were off the mic. You're like, help. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do, man. Like, there is no turning back.
I remember that, like, it felt like 100 million years in my head, but it was only a split second. I remember looking at the audience, and the audience kind of being like, and the chorus came in, and everybody's like, oh, nice. I am the fool.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And
with great risk comes great reward.
Truly. But you know what? And for all those times, for all those moments, I mean, you always end up laughing about them eventually.
That was that was funny pretty much instantly.
That was funny. Well, I mean, I was laughing. I remember Ariel looking at me just being like, holy shit. Like, whoa, this is gnarly. And we're just like, well, I don't know. Like, just, you got to keep playing, man. Just like keep driving it.
It's one of those moments where you're like, I really, really, really want to stop the song and like die.
Oh, I do. I remember it so vividly. That stage was really funny too, because it was really, really narrow.
Yeah.
It was wide.
And so we were like really in a line.
We were like in a straight line, and
we were also opening for the band, so their gear was set up in their formation, and we kind of have to set up around their stuff.
So it was like everything about it was uncomfortable and kind of helter-skelter. But I'll tell you this: we've never sold that much merch. We had a lineup of people that night, in that club, who loved the show and signed CDs until halfway through Paul's set. I remember feeling so terrible about it because people were lined up out the merch booth into the theater with their backs turned to the band, waiting to get to the merch line. And we were signing CDs.
Yeah, right. And that was a lesson to be learned, because just because you think you didn't do a good job does not mean that what you are hearing is what the audience is hearing. Because how many times have you played a show where you're like, well, I guess I'll just give up and go back to landscaping, and somebody goes, that was the best show I've ever heard, and you're like, were you at the same show that I was at? You don't get to have an opinion.
Well, or maybe it's just that, like, you got to understand that there's so many different perspectives on that show that are colored by so many different things. Ours are colored by our egos often, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it wasn't good enough.
How was my guitar solo?
Yeah, exactly. How did I come across in the PA? How did, does this pedal work? Nobody gives flying hoot.
Talking about Ryan.
Hoot nanny.
Ryan had this uncanny ability to listen dispassionately that he honed. And he's about the only person that I would trust getting off the stage to actually say, like, he could listen dispassionately to music and give you like a
really objective feedback,
incredibly objective feedback about how you perform. But it wasn't the same as having a great show. It was just like, were you sitting in the pocket all night? Were you in tune? Did you groove?
Yeah.
Were you rushing fills? Like, he could tell you, no matter how much fun you were or weren't having, he could tell you, be like, oh man, it was like, yeah, you might not have enjoyed yourself, but like, you played well, you performed well.
Yeah, right.
Which I always thought was interesting, but that is not what makes a show great. The energy that comes off the stage, the way somebody goes into a show, like an audience member comes in having a tough day, needs music that night. You might have a terrible night, but you may have just made their week, their month,
or even their year.
Anyways.
All right. Oh man, this is way better when we're in the same room.
It's really nice.
I hope that Manitoba, let's keep these numbers down. This is beautiful.
Yes. What is okay? This is fun. Meg and Marty in the comments are
talking about the Craig Ross thing.
Are Craig about it? And
yeah, what are they saying?
They're just having a laugh. They're dying. Okay, well, here we'll go through. Marty says, my recollection, anyone else would have played it super safe and played their worst SRV licks. Well, hopefully they play their best, but maybe they play their worst.
I mean, they're hard licks to play.
But what you played was epic and ballsy, and to me, it looked like you shrugged it off like nothing. And you've carried it for 15 years, so apparently it was impactful. Meg says, I'm dying. Marty says, me too, Meg. This is amazing. You know what? I got to say, like, in this quarantine time, nothing feels better than like a good belly laugh about reminiscing about the good old days.
Yeah,
it does bring me joy.
It's in these moments, in the absence of music, in the absence of the community that surrounds the music. It's in those moments where I'm really grateful. Like, I hope this is not the case, but if life never goes back to normal and I'm never able to stand on a stage ever again, man, have we ever had a good run.
Oh, yeah. More fortune and joy than anybody has any business scooping up in a lifetime.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Somebody, Pedal Show posted a clip from, we did a Pedal Show
that.
live. Yeah.
I saw that. They sound great. What a good band.
Oh my God. It was so fun and such a great crowd. And I was just reminded, like, it just, man, does it ever feel so good to do that? Just make music together and hang out and laugh and have a good time and inspire each other and goof off and, like, have these weird little inside jokes that nobody knows about when, I don't know, like Ariel posted a story the other day, and it was just like some clip, and then he put at the bottom, good, you? And that was a bit of a band inside joke for a while. Certainly between him and Cody Owasik, but it just became a thing that we kind of said, like, good, you? And I think the origins were because some people thought when he introduced himself, he was saying, how are you? Like, instead of Ariel. And you go, hi, I'm Greg. And you go, Ariel, good, you? I think that's what the origins of that.
Something
so it just
like
became
that, yeah.
It just became this thing that when somebody clearly didn't understand what you were saying, you would say, good, you? So anyway, it just like reminded me of like how funny that was to hear happen and how much I miss that.
Inside jokes and camaraderie and friends and people and normal life. Yeah, it's nice to have a life that was good enough to miss. I think
Yeah,
absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that, but a little bit of perspective on how nice it was to just take those things for granted, and hopefully we won't take them for granted when they come back.
certainly try not
Yeah,
to.
try not to.
Yeah.
Um, it Ben, if you're still out there, I don't know if you're still watching, but have your kids gone down yet, or do we need to tell them to go to bed? It's about that time.
Nell and Mabley.
Nell and Mabley.
Nell,
Mabley,
Mabley. It's time for bed, you
go to
guys.
bed.
It's time for bed.
Stop
Listen.
messing around.
Oh, are we scolding?
I'll be tough guy. You be good cop.
Good.
I'll be bad cop.
All right. Listen, we've had a great day. It's time to wind down. You guys have done really good with schoolwork this week. We're really proud of you, but we just need to wind things down. Sunday's a new day.
Your Uncle Dave and your Uncle Joey are done playing nice. It's time for you to stop screwing around. No, you can't have another drink of water. No, we're not reading another storybook.
How old are these
I
guys?
have no idea.
Maybe
20?
they're teenagers and this is weird.
18 and 20.
Yeah.
You guys go to bed right this instant. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not that scary.
I know. I'm not. Anyways, they might already be in bed.
Who knows?
Hey, this is nice. Hey, Dan, welcome to the party. Dan says, hey, Joe and Dave, just wanted to say your band is one of my more recent discoveries, and I love the music as you guys make. Cheers. Dan,
Thank you.
bless your heart.
That means a lot. We really appreciate it.
Mom, hey, Mom, how are you? I love you. I miss you. Thanks for dropping off the birdseed on my porch. Thank you also for the new birdseed contraption that replaced the old one that wasn't working. I saw that, and I am grateful. I love you.
Oh, hey, I can actually see that a lot better from here than I can see it there. My eyes are bad. I got to go to the eye doctor and get my prescription. Somebody the other day, I never do this. I very rarely read the comments on videos, especially on YouTube, because people are mean on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
they can be.
This guy actually said some of the most insensitive stuff ever, and it boiled my blood. Like, I'm being serious. Like, there's never been a time when I wanted to engage with a troll, and this time I just wanted to like reach through the computer and give the guy a smack upside the head. It was so rude, the stuff that he said. But one of the things he said was like friggin' hipster and your non-prescription glasses. And I was just like, they are prescription, you asshole.
I'm blind.
I can't see.
This isn't a fashion statement.
I mean, it is a fashion statement. Like, of course it is. Everything I'm wearing right now, I'm wearing on purpose.
Yeah,
you know?
You're not wearing anything accidentally. You didn't fall into any of these
No,
things.
I woke up, I looked in the closet and went, today's karate in the garage. This is my Lazy J shirt that I'm wearing on purpose. My pal Jesse sent it to me. This is my Outer Known blanket shirt, which I really, really love. This too.
That's Thinsulate.
Thinsulate.
That's warm. That's functional.
No sponsorship. Well, actually, but this was it's just so insensitive. You know what? And that's why he did it. He did it to make me feel like this, and I don't like that. I don't appreciate it. And if you're that kind of person, don't do that. It's not nice.
Yeah, be nice. Be nice.
I'm so worked up.
Internet trolls. He just
didn't have anything nice to say about anybody.
Bad day. He's going through something. He's taking it out on the internet. I feel bad for him. I hope whatever's bugging him and making him feel sad, I hope it passes.
And I hope that he wrote those things not hoping that I would see them, because he probably was like, nobody's ever going to see this, so I'll just say this mean shit.
I do think, to like some extent, part of why people feel emboldened to say and do the things that they do on the internet is because, like, especially when they comment on stuff with artists, is they don't realize that, like, we actually read that shit.
Yeah.
You know, we're actively, like, we're brutal at engaging on social media, and our team and our managers are forever telling us that we need to do better, and it's because we do, and it's our job, and we should take care of it. But that's
not true. We engage a ton on social media. We're not TikTokers, but we do fine. But the thing is, like,
I'll just say though that, like, I think people post things like that because they don't expect us to read them. They don't think that we're actually looking at the comments.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you don't engage in every comment because, you know, it would be a full-time job if you think of all the different platforms that are out there.
Yeah.
And especially with the mean ones, you just have to let water go under the bridge. But sometimes it gets to you, and there's no way that it's not going to get to you. And no amount of people saying, "Oh, you know, chin up, don't let it get to you," it still is going to. When somebody says, like, hurt. This particular comment was super hurtful. It wasn't just about the glasses. It was like he went on to say some really, really, really mean stuff, and it was just like, man, I can't not let that get to me.
Yeah.
And at try as I might, I can normally, like, when somebody complains about, oh, well, I bet you that guitar, who knows how good it would sound if it was in standard tuning, that kind of stuff. I'm just like, well, whatever. I mean, use your imagination.
Yeah, sure.
But like this stuff, it was so cutting and so
Oh,
mean.
I'm so sorry, dude.
And I just wanted to, it just made me really mad. And then it made me really sad. It actually just hurt my feelings.
Well, check this out.
Yeah.
Check this out.
What?
Jesse Hoff. Hey, this is before we even went there. This is before you even start talking about that.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, he says, "Hey, looking sharp, sunglass face."
Well, that's this Jesse.
Oh, no way.
That is.
Okay, so product placement. He might.
Yeah.
Who knows what he actually thinks?
Yeah. Jesse makes great amps over in the UK. He's an American guy. He's done a lot of traveling. He has been to Winnipeg. And when I met Jesse for the first time, he said, man, I backpacked around Canada and I spent like a whole weekend in Assiniboine Park. It was so nice. And Winnipeg is not a destination. So when you meet somebody who's been there, and when you meet somebody who's been there and had a really nice time, it is really nice to hear, because a lot of people complain about Winnipeg.
Yeah, there's a window to come to Winnipeg, and it's about 4 days long in the middle of the summer.
That's not true.
Okay, it's 8 days long.
If you keep talking smack on my town, we're gonna have issues.
Have you guys ever seen? Joel Q says, "Have you guys ever seen how Dave and Ryan are Peter McKinnon and Chris Ramsey? Could defo be the same people?" I don't know who either of those people are.
No, but apparently you could be those people.
Are they doppelgangers?
Doppelganger.
Okay.
Cool, Joel. We'll have to look it up.
Did you try commenting? I'm just gonna look for some more questions.
Thanks everybody for joining us today. Super fun.
Yeah.
I like this new setup.
Man, it's nice.
It's nice. I mean, it's nice to be together, but I like this little rig. I like sitting in the chairs.
It's nice. I feel like.
Did you notice? Ow!
What did you just do? What did you do? You okay?
The funny bone.
Oh, it's not funny.
It's
Why do
not
they call
funny.
it that? Why do they even call it the funny bone? Bless your heart for not swearing on TV.
Dave and Joe in Terrence and Phillip form.
Who sent those to you?
Brad Jackson from Jackson Audio.
Wonderful. Nothing makes me happier. When we were cutting tracks for the record, I brought this over and put it on my stand.
This is my favorite thing that they do. Hey, guy.
Karate in the garage with your brother's language. Anyways, real grown up.
I feel like I'm a little too casual here. I'll sit up straight.
Step it up.
Yeah. Bring your A game, is what they say.
Oh, here's a cool one. Sure. This is great. From Joel again. Question for both of you. Many famous bands of brothers, Oasis, The Kinks, etc., fail. What has made you successful in working together? I have a dream of starting a band with my bro and making it work.
I mean,
yeah. What has made us?
We're good. We're good communicators.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely get under each other's skin the same way that other brothers do, but we've never been super scrappy. Like even I think at the height of our, I don't know, like we don't argue, but I think it's because we
ask anybody who travels with us.
I mean, like we don't like fight. We don't get into like screaming matches.
Yeah, no.
We definitely disagree constantly.
Yeah.
But we also like, I feel like we take each other's sort of needs and wants into consideration.
Yeah.
Even if it's like when we're recording something and you suggest something, I'm like, pretty sure that's not going to work. Well, let's give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
You hesitated.
Oh, it hurts to hear you say that. Ouch. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I'm sorry. That's not like I'm not saying, but I'm just that's the only time that we disagree right now is while we're recording. Like, why don't you try this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like the fundamental level of respect, I think, is where we operate from. Is that like I know that you respect me as a peer, as a creative peer, as a business partner, as a human being, and I think you also understand that respect to be mutual.
Yeah,
and that just like so when we do have disagreements, which we do often, or we do butt heads over something, it's never at the base of it. Like I'm not worried that you don't believe that I'm good enough to be in a band with, or
Yeah.
like it's just like we just have something that we need to hash out.
Yeah. And like I think there's pretty clear roles in our relationship. Like, I feel like I'm kind of the creative guy first. You are like in sort of like a business setting, and you keep the machine running, your logistics, but we never um there's always a seat for each other at each other's table.
Definitely.
So if there's something creative that you want to see happen, or an idea or a change in the set list, I'm never going, "Hey, that's my gig.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn." It's like if you have something that you really feel strongly about, we will see it through. And the same goes with how we're running the business. If there's something where I'm like, "I really don't like this relationship. I don't like how it's going. I don't like the way this person's treating you," or "I think we should try this instead of that." There's never a, get out of my territory. I know that at the end of the day, if I were to leave you to do that gig, we would be fine.
And vice versa.
Yeah. But the important thing is that we always feel like we have a seat at each other's table, I think. And that is communication. And, we bicker tons, but I think, I mean, we don't mince words. So it's not, it's never like, if we don't like something, it's just like, oh, nope. No. There's never like, I feel bad for Murray because he's so diplomatic when we're working on records.
He's such a sweet guy too.
He's such a sweet man. So
such jerks.
I'll be in the booth singing something, and he'll go, "Oh man, it's sounding really good. I feel like though in that one section we really should just," and I'm like, "Murray, you're not going to hurt me." And Dave would just be like, I don't like that thing you're doing there. Stop doing that.
Don't.
And I'll either go, "Oh, okay, cool," or I'll go, "Well, screw you. I really want to do that thing."
Yeah.
And then we go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think that's it. I think you nailed it. It's like, I think we know what each other's strengths are. We understand that, and we've built this band and this business based on that in a lot of ways. But we also really respect each other's input. Like right from day one, the intent was always like, "Okay, Joe, you're the musical director.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have input, musical input.
Mm-hmm.
I have creative input. We write the songs together. We record all this shit together. But at the end of the day, I do trust you to lead that, and I feel that you have the same sort of faith in me to make, along with our business, like our manager who really does all the work, but like you trust me to sort of help direct that stuff."
Yeah.
So it's about understanding what our strengths are, and then and I think the fact that it's also like, if we were two guitar players, I don't know how this would all shake out. But like as a bass player, I'm happy taking a step back in a supporting role.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not jockeying for that place at the front of the stage. I don't want to be at the front of the stage. I don't want to be leading that stuff creatively. I'm very happy to be a supportive role on the bandstand.
Yeah.
And so I think that keeps us just like, we're not fighting for the same space. There's a comfortable spot for you. There's a comfortable spot for me. And it kind of works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not without its friction. And I mean, we've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Or however long. Coming up. It'll be 10 years soon.
Mick and Catherine, Mick from That Pedal Show and his wife Catherine, who are very, very dear friends of ours. Everybody at TPS is like family. I was talking to them. Anna and I were over there in 2019. We had a little holiday, and we were just talking about being married and relationships, and they have such a great partnership. Like they're a couple, but they're also business partners. They're dear friends. Like they just have such a solid relationship. And I said, like, and I mean, my marriage is also super solid, and Anna and I are really great friends. I was just curious, like, what's the thing that makes your guys' marriage work? And Catherine didn't even hesitate. She said, "I just make sure that he's as happy as he could possibly be, knowing that he's making sure that I'm as happy as I could possibly be. And as long as we have each other's back," and that doesn't mean that, you're completely selfless and you're never worried about yourself. But at the end of the day, if I make sure that you have a place and you're making sure that I have a place, then there's just this sort of mutual back having that is really important. And I think that, we've talked around this whole topic for like probably 12 minutes, but I think the key is knowing that at the end of the day, you have my back and I have yours.
Yeah.
And it's vice versa. And knowing that, like, if everything goes all to hell, we can do this and we're solid. you know,
Yeah.
we lean in on each other mutually, and this
Well,
is indestructible.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've
Even though
weathered
you piss me off more than anybody else does.
likewise.
No one can
Nobody can
upset me
get.
like him.
I'm just checking my list of people. Yeah, nobody can upset me like you either.
Just a bit. Nope. No.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
no, definitely not.
literally just you.
Yeah. No, it's population 1 in SU.
Well, and I know that because, you know, unfortunately fortunately, because we're here today and this is great. But we have weathered, you know, in terms of our band, we thought the band was going to disband
Yeah.
at one point,
Yeah.
and we survived it. And we
Yeah.
survived it because the band is also not the most important thing in our lives.
Yeah.
Our relationship as brothers, as friends, and the love that we have is way more important than the music that we make.
And the band only exists because we wanted to hang out more.
Ultimately.
Ultimately.
Yeah, that's why.
Now I can't get away from him.
And I can't stand you. But I mean, you know, we went through that, and that made us that made us face the really awful question of, like, what does it look like if the band stops?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we don't stop being brothers, and that's the most important thing. And so we had each other's back through that. You had my back in a big way, because I was the one that was like, okay, pump the brakes. I got to stop. I got to take a breather. And we didn't know if it was going to resume. Nobody knew. We were in like this really awful purgatory for a while. But we survived that.
Yeah.
We faced that test and came out the other end. And yeah, it's true. Like in a lot of ways, I do feel like it is truly indestructible, because what can you possibly take away now? What's left? I mean, we would continue to make music if there was no shows. Clearly, we're doing that right now.
Yeah.
If there's, you know, no possibility to even play with the band, we're going to still continue to make music. So it's like, yeah, I'll see you at the end of the line, man. We got this thing. We're going the distance.
I can go the distance. Hey. I will find my way. Sorry,
Ben. Now I feel like we've profiteered off of our our nighttime wishes.
Yeah, I can't possibly accept your gift.
I can. Dude, thank you. Thank you very much, Ben. That's really, really sweet.
Very sweet of you, Ben.
Ben's
over in Wales.
No question, thank you. We didn't hear Dave's rap skills in a long time. It's gonna be a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say hard no on Dave rapping.
Joey's gonna veto it. Joey's not a fan of my rapping, but I do. I can rap.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Ah.
Okay, there's a question I want to find. Oh, hey, this is a great, cool piece. Can you guys? Andrew says, "Can you guys make a trucker hat? I've been waiting for one."
Oh yeah, I love trucker hats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though I've never trucked,
I have worn a lot of hats. Gladly, you know what?
I like hats.
We have some awesome merch designs that Roberta's working on.
Yeah, and
I have just not got her to finish them, and that's on me. I keep forgetting to follow up on that. But we're gonna release them, and then we will. Yeah.
Is there any other merch pieces?
Yeah.
You folks would like to see?
What are you guys into? Do you like?
You want to see a Brothers Landers scarf?
Sweater? Do you like hoodies? T-shirts? Let us know what your.
And we should do guitar straps.
Well, yeah, the guy from Moody said he would build us like really, really nice guitar straps. So we just got to reach out.
Yeah. What else? I don't know. What do you
Let
want
us
to see?
know. Yeah, we legit would love to know what kind
underwear
of merch you're into, because we want to make merch that you want to wear too. Roberto, make it look beautiful. You just tell us like what configuration. No gitch. Weird. It's just weird.
Gitch is a word we use for underwear. I had a band called Gitch. There's a poster in the bathroom here.
Okay, there was a question here. Somebody asked, I got to go back a pinch, but it was like, what's your most useless skill?
Most useless skill? I mean, that's tough, because I think most skills are pretty useful. I mean, even if their setting is very niche. What's your most useful? Well, I mean, Dave's actually pretty good at penny whistle, and we never play penny whistle music.
It's not useless. That's a talent.
I guess if you're playing in a band that needs penny whistle,
or like you need
dope.
to like unlock a gate in a mystical underworld.
No, that's an ocarina. You need an ocarina for that.
Oh, am I confusing myself with being in a video game again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my most useless skill is that I can say the alphabet backwards. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.
Holy shit, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, arguably as useless as being able to say the alphabet forwards.
That's true. Except for when you can't remember where a letter is, and then you have to go through the
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing.
if you need to alphabetize.
I think maybe my most useless skill is that I can deliberately sing in the wrong key.
Can you show people?
I don't really want to be honest.
That's okay.
Do you want me to do it?
Let's leave it to the listeners. We're actually getting close to what I would call a show. So if you guys want to end this on a horrible note,
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys want to do that?
I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I need a guitar though.
Ben says, karate in the garage, baseball tee with go to bed on the back. I'm really into that.
That would be an incredibly like inside thing to do. That only people who watch karate in the garage would know that we tell Nell and Madley to go to bed.
Oh my god, that guitar sounds so good.
Yeah, I know. I don't deserve it.
Okay, Joe, you want to play a little bit, and I'll talk us out, and then you can end it with the song and the singing out of key.
Is that the note we want to end on?
No, but is it the end? Is it the note that we're going to end on? We should end with it. You know, we've never played a song.
You get the summons, I'll pay the fine. I know my place, you can take your time.
Oh, Joe, that sounds so bad.
You take the high road, I'll take the blame.
Oh.
Or take me in your arms, cause it's all the same. I may never see, dear, say the words you want to hear. What?
Just the comment says volume down. I know. Oh, man.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Volume down, maybe because it's bad or just because it's too loud. Anders is often helping us with production notes, but you know
that is Chris.
It's not gonna happen anymore.
We don't need to do that.
No,
that was so unkind of us. Listen,
sorry.
You've been so nice. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday. On Saturdays, we hang out and we do this thing called karate in the garage. But sadly, it's come to an end because my kid's about to wake up from a nap and I got to get home and I got to hang out with him because Saturdays is a really great day to hang out with my kid. And that is our theme music. I want to say thanks. I want to thanks for being here. Thanks for the great questions. Thanks for inspiring, interesting conversation and giving us a chance to sort of wax poetic and philosophize about music and our careers. It's really nice to be here with you.
It's great to be here with you too.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's nice to be back working on this record. I cannot wait to share this record.
I cannot wait to share this record with you guys. Hey, you know what? I never liked you. I'm practicing my drunkle.
Sounds pretty good. What do you got to say?
Thanks everybody for joining us. We absolutely love doing this, and in the absence of being able to play shows, it really makes us feel connected to each other and to you.
And to you guys.
And we really appreciate it. We miss you. And as soon as it's safe, we'll be back out on the road. But until then, we'll see you next week on Karate in the Garage.
Bye, friends.
Bye.